The battlefield still smoked from the previous night's bombardment. Jagged metal scraps glittered in the sun like bones picked clean, and the scorched earth gave off the sharp smell of iron and ash. Corporal Daniel Raines moved carefully among the wreckage, his pulse loud in his ears. The war against the Zoranthi had dragged on for years now, long enough that no one on either side truly remembered who had struck first. All Daniel knew was the endless cycle of violence, the way his squad lost someone almost every week, and the grim orders that kept coming down from command. No prisoners, no risks. They had been sweeping the ruin of a Zoranthi forward post when he heard it, a low, rasping sound. Not the scuttling of their insectoid scouts or the metallic rattle of a drone, but something heavier, almost like a groan. He followed it, his boots crunching over blackened shards of alien plating, until he came to a collapsed trench wall. There, half buried under stonecrete and twisted steel, lay one of them. The alien warrior was massive, at least 8 feet from crown to clawed feet. His scaled armor was fractured, bleeding a thick bluish fluid that steamed in the heat. His lower body was pinned under the wreckage, legs bent at impossible angles. 3 lidless eyes blinked slowly, glimmering with pain and defiance. His chest rose shallowly, his mandibles clicking in weak rhythm. The Zoranthi were feared across the stars for their brutality, for never showing mercy. Yet this one was paralyzed, trapped, and unable to fight back. Daniel froze. Instinct screamed at him to raise his rifle and finish the job. Every soldier was taught the same. If they're down, make sure they stay down. Leaving an enemy alive, risk your own people later. He tightened his grip on the rifle, but then the alien's middle eye locked on him. It wasn't rage Daniel saw there, nor hatred. It was pleading. Behind him, Sergeant Cole's voice barked through the comms. Corporal status? Daniel hesitated before replying. Sector clear. Just debris. He cut the channel, pulse quickening. If he reported this, Cole would order him to put a bullet through the alien's skull. No hesitation. No discussion. That was the war. Daniel crouched, setting the rifle down. The alien's mandibles moved, a garbled rasp spilling out. Daniel fumbled for his translator module, clipped to his belt. Static crackled before a broken voice came through. I am Koresh, warrior of the Tvar line. Help me. The word struck like a hammer. Never had he heard one of them beg. Never had he imagined they even could. You're my enemy, Daniel whispered. Koresh's eyes glimmered again, dimming. War makes enemies. Pain makes equals. For a moment, Daniel's training in humanity wrestled. Images flooded his mind. The bodies of fallen comrades, the grief in their faces before they turned to ash. But then another memory surfaced. His younger sister back home, weak from an accident years ago, paralyzed waist down. He remembered holding her hand as doctors shook their heads, the way he swore he'd protect her in a world that never cared for vulnerable. He saw her in the alien's helpless form, and his decision crystallized. I'll get you out, he muttered. The wreckage pinning Koresh was heavy. Daniel planted his hands against the stonecrete, straining. Muscles burned, sweat stung his eyes. Piece by piece, he shifted enough for Koresh's broken body to slide free. The alien screamed, a sound so raw it rattled Daniel's bones, as crushed limbs dragged across the rubble. Daniel quickly injected a pain suppressant from his medkit. The fluid hissed as it entered alien veins, but the translator soon whispered, better. Static burst on his comms again. Raines, what the hell is taking you so long? Cole demanded. Moving debris. Nothing useful here. Daniel lied, forcing calm into his voice. He killed the channel again, praying no one came to check. Hours passed as Daniel worked, patching what wounds he could. Human medicine was crude compared to what Koresh's people might have, but it slowed the bleeding. He splinted the twisted limbs with scavenged metal rods, bound the worst tears with scent bandages. All the while Koresh watched him, 3 eyes unblinking. Why? The translator croaked finally. Your kind would let me die. Daniel sat back, breathing hard. Because everyone deserves a chance. Even an enemy. He didn't say what he truly felt. That saving Koresh was saving a part of himself that war hadn't yet destroyed. When night fell, Daniel built a small shelter from scraps of plating to hide the glow of their presence. The battlefield was quiet now, scavenger drones sweeping distant ridges. Koresh stirred fitfully, mandibles twitching. Daniel offered him his canteen. You'll spit it out, Daniel said, but it's all I've got. To his surprise, Koresh drank, though awkwardly. Strange taste, he rasped, but life? Over the next 2 days, Daniel remained by his side. He rationed food and water, carefully feeding Koresh what his system could tolerate. He ignored Cole's constant demands for status, inventing excuses for why he stayed in the ruins. Each hour risked discovery, but each hour also strengthened the fragile bond between man and alien. Koresh began to speak more. In halting phrases, he told Daniel of his homeworld, frozen mountains where his people carved cities into glaciers, where honor was bound to one's ability to protect kin. He had led warriors once, had children who looked to him as a shield. Now, he feared he would never see them again. "You could hate me," Daniel admitted one night, "for what we've done to your people." Koresh's mandibles clicked softly. Hate feeds war. Mercy ends it. On the third day, Daniel's squad found him. Drones picked up his heat signature. Soon Sergeant Cole and 2 others marched into the ruin, rifles raised. "Corporal Rains." Cole shouted, "Step away from the target." Daniel stood, shielding Koresh's broken form with his body. "He's not a target. He's alive. He's the enemy." Cole snapped. "Orders are clear. We leave no Zaranthi breathing. Move aside." The other soldiers flanked, eyes uncertain. They had seen too much death, too much cruelty, but orders were orders. Daniel's chest heaved. He could feel Koresh's eyes on him, waiting. "If we kill him now," Daniel said, "we prove we're no better. If we save him, maybe something changes." Cole sneered. "You think command cares about your morality? They'll court-martial you for treason." "Then court-martial me," Daniel said firmly, "but I won't step aside." A tense silence stretched. The other soldiers shifted, glancing between Cole and Daniel. Finally, one lowered his rifle. "He saved my life back in Duroc Valley," the soldier muttered. "If he says the alien's worth saving, I believe him." Another followed suit. Cole cursed, fury in his eyes, but outnumbered, he spat on the ground. "Fine, but you're digging your own grave, Rains." He stormed off, the others trailing reluctantly. Daniel turned back to Koresh, relief flooding him. "Looks like you live another day." Koresh's voice rasped through the translator. "You risked all for me. My life is yours." "Not mine," Daniel corrected softly. "Yours to live." Weeks later, when reinforcement arrived and the wounded were evacuated, Daniel smuggled Koresh aboard a med transport. The alien's injuries were too severe for human doctors, but he survived the journey. Rumors spread of a soldier who had defied orders to save the enemy. Some called Daniel a traitor. Others called him a hero. Months after, an unexpected transmission came across coalition channels. The Zaranthi proposing talks. Not surrender, but truce. Their message included a name, Koresh of the Tvar Line, alive because of one human's choice, vouching for peace. When Daniel heard it, he allowed himself a weary smile. In the middle of a war that had consumed galaxies, one act of mercy had sparked something neither side had thought possible. And though he would face tribunals, suspicion, perhaps even punishment, Daniel carried no regret, for he knew that on a battlefield of hatred and death, he had chosen humanity, and maybe, just maybe, begun to end the war